If you want to stand up, yeah. Using one brain power, because there is one brain power. Stand up, sit down, whatever you want to do. Yeah. This song is sung for me. We're going to get down to the end of this one. Wait a sec. A flat, yeah? Just make sure with the right key. Thank you. See, Anthony, I do different keys. Sing in different keys than Anthony does. And so that's why Doug's singing this one. He's got more of an Anthony key kind of voice than I do. So.
delighted that you're here today, bringing your voice and your presence as we show up as emanations of the one power and one source to create this Sunday morning experience. And some of you may not know that my name is Alara Payton. I'm part of this community for the last 21 years, and it's my delight to be your Sunday experience guide today as we journey together, gathering the experiences and the wisdom gifts that are available to us today. And we know that wherever you are in your spiritual journey, whether you've been here for many years or you're coming to visit one time, we know that you're in the right place. And thank you for bringing you here today. Let's begin with an affirmative prayer. As we choose to consciously affirm, I am my I am presence. And I am one with the I am presence of all life. I am a living emanation of Source. I am a light unto the world. I am contributing to the evolution of consciousness of this planet, of humanity, as I evolve my consciousness. And anchoring your truth of being with your breath and every heartbeat. We are open and receptive to all of the blessings of this day. And so it is. And so we continue to say the statement of being as a declaration of why we choose to gather. Whether you're here in person today or you're one that listens to the recordings once they go up onto our website. And so let's declare together, let's affirm together. We are here as love to celebrate the one power, the one presence in our lives, in this community, and in the universe. And let's continue our affirmation declaration through listening to the reading of the Daily Word, which Reverend is going to read for us today.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Oh, I love this word today. It's one of my favorite. Joy. I delight in simple joys. Joy, it has been said, comes much more from wanting what we have than from having what we want. Reflecting on this thought, I embrace the simple joys that this day offers. I enjoy my morning coffee. Mega. Do I enjoy my morning coffee?
Sure do.
Savoring its flavor and fragrance. Walking through my neighborhood, I greet friends, smile at people I haven't met yet, and enjoy the fresh air. I find satisfaction in taking care of my home, working at my job, or helping a friend. Even if I'm not with them today, I feel joy as I think of my connection with the people I care most about. I know joy whenever I look for possibilities rather than focusing on problems. My greatest joy is my awareness that wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, God is always with me. You show me the path in your presence. There is fullness of joy. In your right hand are pleasures forevermore. Psalm 16:11. Thank you so much, Pastor.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what simple joys show up in our lives this very day. As part of a worldwide movement with over 800 centers, we adopted the Worldwide Unity Vision. So if it moves you, please join with me affirming our vision. We envision a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our community mission helps us to bring that forth and guides the decisions that are made here. So please affirm with me our mission. We are a welcoming, vibrant, spiritual community that inspires hearts and transforms lives by expressing our divine essence. So thank you so much for being here to help us bring that forward on this very day. Now, how many of you were here to enjoy the Thanksgiving ceremony last week? For those of you that were not, I asked that the leads, so what we did last week is we had an opportunity to write down what we're grateful for on pieces of paper that have a leaf outlined on them. And then after they were collected last week when people brought them up for the table, we put them in the prayer box, and we're going to keep those sheets for the rest of the month. At the end of the month, as prayer chaplain coordinator, I'm going to take them out, do ceremony, and burn them. So if you would like to add more gratitudes to the box, or if you haven't added any yet, the pieces of paper are back there, and you're most welcome to add those to the prayer box. And a second thank you, so thank you for everyone had participated and will participate, and bring your energy of blessing and gratitude to that.
So, Laura,
Yes?
for those of us who weren't here, did you say you're going to burn the leaves?
Yeah,
So could you just talk about the significance of that?
From the many of the First Nations in the world, they do ceremony with fire and burning, prayer offerings, and then the smoke takes the prayers to Creator. Yeah, thank you. All right. And another thank you is to the casino volunteers. So anyone who feels that they would like to stand up so that the community can see who volunteered in some way for the casino. Thank you to everyone. We'll find out in a few months what the financial significance of that is. And I know I really enjoyed working with the people that I was working with, several other people, and it was really nice to get to know them a little more during those 2 days. So thank you, everyone.
Big thank you to Tina.
Yes. It wasn't too much like herding cats, as the saying goes.
And Stefan and I were an amazing tag team to pull this together.
All right, well, what's coming up at Unity? You can see up there the Miss Katie Guerin is going to be our guest speaker for next week with Managing My Mind. And she's going to, we're doing one of the healing circles or the experiences where for 45 minutes, Katie's going to guide us through a variety of simple techniques: awareness, belief work, balancing your thoughts, using the DeMartini method, emotional freedom technique, and energy medicine. So it's going to be, she's teaching us, but also giving us experience of the teachings. Is that correct?
Yeah, just be an interactive to just try those things out. You may have heard of them and wondered what they were. And
yeah, so we'll be sitting in a circle. The band will not be playing. Vivian, you are doing our music next week?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, yeah, once a month we're doing these circles where it's more about the 45-minute experience and not the format that we're using today. And next week, this coming week, we have our first class of the season. You know, when school starts in September, well, now can have an opportunity to join in with Reverend Vicki Vanderhorst, who is our mentor minister. She is doing a 7-week program called 7 Steps in the Path of Wholeness. And those steps are affirmative prayer in the silence, integrity, forgiveness, equanimity, community, gratitude and joy, and the creative process. So if that interests you at all, the information is in our newsletter. It's on the website. And if you are not on our email list, then that's probably the most consistent way to get the information about what's going on. But I noticed I was not getting my newsletter. And so I went into my spam to check, and it was getting kicked into spam again for some reason. So yeah, so if you're not getting it in your regular mailbox, do check your spam so that you can be up to date with everything. Well, and that brings us to our first solo offering by Vivian Martin. Please help me welcome Vivian Martin.
Thank you. I would really like to acknowledge the band. Yesterday, Anthony contacted me and asked if I could lead this one. He was going to be here originally. And so I said, sure, I can do that. So I kept most of the same songs because the PowerPoint was probably already done. I'll just keep things simple, but I thought, I'll pick my own solo songs. And so I picked this one, and the guys have never played it before. Both the solo songs this one, they've never played it before. They're so supportive. And so, yeah, I really appreciate you very, very much for putting up with my antics. And so this song was originally recorded by Chick Corea and Flora Pure. If you know me, you know I love jazz. And this one's got more of a funky kind of thing going on, and it's called Open Your Eyes, You Can Fly. Never be afraid to
Inner eye. So clear. So good. All right, well, I'm going to be doing the meditation in a moment, but let me introduce our speaker, Reverend Craig. For those of you that don't know Reverend Doug, he's was an instructor of 30 years, over 2 tenures in the School of Business at SAIT, our Southern Alberta Institute of Technology here in Calgary. He's been actively involved in the New Thought movement for over 40 years. He founded the Red Deer Center for Spiritual Living in 1988 and served as its minister for 8 years. He served as an associate minister and member of the board at the Joy of Life Center with Dr. Nadine Rogers for over 12 years. And his personal motto is, if you change your attitude, you change your experience. And he's going to be talking on the topic of, in all things, give thanks. So let's go into a meditation and open to that topic, shall we? That experience of, in all things, give thanks. And we will be led in the meditation song before and after the meditation, The Face of God.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
So we rest. We rest in the knowing. As we look in the mirror and first acknowledge to ourselves, you are the face of God. You are the face of love. And noticing any resistances to that. Noticing any aspect that doesn't quite believe. And simply accepting any resistances. And saying once again, you are the face of God. I hold myself in my heart. Breathing in as the face of God. The consciousness of God, which we often call the Christ consciousness here. Breathing. Having our heart beated as the living expression of creation itself. And extending those words, you are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. To our family of blood, our families of choice, our neighbors, co-workers, members of this community. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I see, know, and acknowledge you are a light unto the world, as am I. And together we open to receive the gifts of the message. In all things, give thanks.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Look at your neighbor and sing it. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Well, in all things give thanks. One thing I wanted to mention, somebody had asked about the ritual of the fire, and that's part of one of the things of the significance of fire. But also there's two other areas where fire is significance that ties into the ritual. And of course, that's in nature. Fire is a cleansing and purification of that which it burns. But it's also birth and renewal, because out of that come flowers and trees that don't grow unless there's a forest fire. Okay? And then in ancient philosophies, in the Greek and Egyptian philosophies, the myth of the phoenix at the end of its reign builds a wooden funeral pyre and ignites itself in flames and burns to the ashes. And out of the ashes rises the new phoenix for another 500 years of good luck and good fortune. So again, it's a purification and a cleansing process. So just thought I'd add that in there in case anybody was interested. Okay, so my first point, well, funny, it's in all things give thanks. And in St. Paul said in 1 Thessalonians 5:16-22, he had a little bit of advice for the Thessalonians and how to deal with people. He said, see that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both amongst yourself and to all men. Okay, so this is an attitude of treating people. Rejoice evermore. So always be in a place of praise and rejoicing. Pray without ceasing, which doesn't mean that we're beseeching or begging. That means we're constantly connected with the source. And he says, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. Quench not the spirit, don't hold back. Despise not the prophecies, don't make judgments on what other people say. Prove all things and hold fast that which is good, and abstain from the appearance of all evil. So, one of the things that people really get mistaken here when Paul was saying, he said, in all things give thanks. He didn't say give thanks for all things. So that doesn't mean, I got my butt kicked today, so I gotta be grateful for it. No, you don't have to. Learn your lesson so it don't happen again, of course. So giving thanks is not something you do after the fact. It's something you do before the fact arrives, when you're in the process. So if you're going to, let's say, go out and shop for a new vehicle, before you do, give thanks. knowing that the divine presence is working in you, through you, by means of you, to bring to you what it is that you need that's right and perfect to you and for you. Right? Do it before, not after, because that also not only establishes in consciousness, that giving thanks before is acceptance of the idea that there's a spiritual law that works through us, for us, by means of us, and we activate it. And if we're activating that desire for a new vehicle, well, we're giving thanks knowing that it's going to happen. Right? We don't just do something and wait till after. It's easy to say these, but it's just getting it into the daily practice of doing it. And that's why I like doing this talks, because it reminds me about all these things, because, you know, it's easy to get stupid fast. So, again, what really is the important part here is what the impact of your intention and actions has on the results you want and will experience. So it's all about establishing intention and acceptance of what it is that you want to bring into your experience. I wanted to mention, too, one other thing about this giving and receiving. We got to get this real simple point clear in order for us to grow and learn. When we give, and the person that we give to turns up their nose, snubs us, doesn't say thank you, doesn't appear to be grateful, that is not my problem. That is their problem. My problem comes into play if I go, oh, what kind of a person? I'm grateful, look at that. Anybody ever do that? Well, I'll never do that to them again. And you see, that's when we take the gift away from giving until a conditional thing, because there's an attachment to an outcome. Well, I gave it and didn't have attachment to an outcome. Well, how come when he didn't give you any thanks, you got upset? Because it's an attachment to the outcome. A gift given has to leave the hand and be free. If not, you ain't given. It's conditional. Think about that. It don't matter what it is, even a compliment. Some people give compliments, but it's conditional. They're hoping the person's going to spark up and, you don't do it that way. So it's a very important point in this Thanksgiving thing, and giving thanks before as opposed to after. And you always do it after to show gratitude for your gifts, because that's for you. Somebody gives me something, I got to be grateful. Oh, no, you don't have to do that for me. Well, you see, anybody ever do that? So first thing, there's two things here. This is the other end of the same stick. You're saying no to a gift. That's not your job. I remember I was on a weight reduction program, and these folks, they gave me a great big box of really expensive imported toffee for Christmas, just what the waist needed. And I got bent out of shape over it. This is when I really got clear on this one. Okay? And then I go, oh, that's not, no. Because, you see, I'm depriving myself of receiving. And then if you say no to somebody, you double whammy it. You're depriving of them of an opportunity to give. Never deprive somebody an opportunity to give unless they're given too much of their opinion. Then you get to stop. Remember being Santa one time at the end of the season. I was sitting there in the coffee shop, and a big guy walks in like this, and he had an edge on. He comes over to me and he goes, Christmas, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there sipping my espresso, and he goes on for 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, that's it. I stuck my hand in his face. I said, that's it. I've listened to your opinion. Now you're going to listen to mine. So I told him what I thought. I said, now that's my opinion, that's your opinion, go have a coffee. And that's exactly what he did. Okay, so don't get involved in that other stuff. That's giving and receiving in a different way. He gave, I received, and I gave back. But I received properly. I wasn't bent on the shape or anything like that. I allowed him to voice his opinion because he's entitled to it. Just like I'm entitled to mine, and you are to yours. So always remember that. I wanted to talk about the casino and giving thanks, you know. I like working casinos. And I like my job. I always choose the cashier. I've done all of them because I like playing with the money. Not in the count room because I get to play with the money out there and play with the people in there. And I got that. It's great. And yeah, you get to get more of a depth of understanding of people you already know. You meet new people, new experiences. You learn about crime, laundering, and all that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff you learn. A really neat experience. I was really grateful for the opportunity to do that, and the experience I had with all the people there was absolutely wonderful. You know? And again, I like feeding that money because I just pretend it's mine. Now, try it for something. I got to tell you, it's quite an experience. And remember what, and that's getting into being grateful. And you know, a lot of people have problems with casinos. It's gambling. Gambling's bad. In fact, it's so bad in Louisiana, it's illegal. But have you ever been to New Orleans? You know, they got this big honking casino there with all the stuff in it. But it's not gambling.
What is it?
Gaming. I don't like gambling. You say, I don't like it either, but I work here because it's gaming. See, it all depends on how you look at stuff, eh? Really interesting. So the last thing I want to talk about here is developing an attitude of gratitude. Dr. Ernest Holmes, in The Science of Mind, said the universe holds nothing against us. No matter how many mistakes we have made, thank God for that. We are still perfect beings within, and the within may become the without if we will carefully train ourselves to listen to the inner voice of truth, which speaks to us in our moments of quietness and solitude. And the voice spoke to me, and it said, when I said I would be of service, I could get my life back, and it provided me many ways to be of service. And you know, when you're of service, you never know what the impact will be on the people you're doing the activity with and how it will go. I was at the football game Friday night, and I was chatting with my buddy Mick. I've been buddies with him for 52, 53 years, really close. And when I was a minister in Red Deer, Mick was making his transition from his former life into his new life in prison. Okay. It's a good place to get a new start if you get yourself twisted around. And so we got a good group going there, and he got this big event planned for all the people there that were in this group. And they were having a family barbecue, and I'm coming in and I'm doing a seminar on choices. Okay? So I did this seminar on choices, and they recorded it, and they really liked it there, and that was part of Mick's transition. He went from that to come back out. He's a very successful business owner, owns a motorcycle shop, and he did a lot of fundraising for youth, and he's on the national board of the 7 Steps program. This is a group that helps prisoners that get out of jail rehabilitate back into society so they don't go back to prison, because there's a high rate of recidivism with prisoners, you know. And so he does that. And, you know, he was met a young man that just was in the transition program and got released a couple of months ago. Now, this really touched me, and it really touched him. And this guy looked at him and said, "Hey, you're that guy on that video." What video? Well, they got, choices things. He said anybody that goes through the release program before they're released there have to watch that video. 30 years. Okay? 30 years they've been doing that. We didn't know it, but we did our work. And so the work, when you give with an attitude of gratitude, continues to keep on giving. And so what's the payback for me? Hearing something like I just shared with you. Wow. Never really thought about it, eh? Just like Johnny Appleseed, remember, folks. When you go do your work, you plant the seeds. But you don't have to go back to see if they're growing and if there's any apples on them, do you? Did Johnny Appleseed do that? No, he was too busy planting seeds and doing the work. Doing the work, you don't have to see what the results are, because if you're doing the work from the right place and with an attitude of gratitude, you will get the results. So one of the things in this program that is an important thing that I always tell people is I always talk to them about birds. Not jailbirds, but birds. Two birds, the eagle and the turkey. Has anybody ever seen a turkey where they have turkeys? An old-time farmer, my grandfather has a turkey pen, and they have a particular way of pecking around and all the stuff that's down there, and they're kind of restricted. And then the other one is an eagle. Anybody ever watch eagles? I love watching eagles. They're the highest flying bird we got. So, you see, I always tell people that in this case, you can choose to soar with the eagles or scratch with the turkeys. A turkey doesn't have no choice, and neither does an eagle. But we do. We do. And if you're scratching like a turkey, you're looking at the results that are immediately around you, and you're not taking the higher view and seeing the bigger picture. So that's the way you can tell whether you're a turkey, and you don't have to be Thanksgiving, that's another thing, but whether you're a turkey or an eagle. It's easy to tell. Depends on your perspective and your view. So if you're stuck, raise it up, have a little bit bigger of a perspective, and know that it don't matter how many mistakes you've made. When you turn to the light responds. When I first got into this 40 years ago, 42, 43 years ago now, I had a 19-year career of crime and violence and drug addiction, all that kind of stuff, gangs. And I went to the 12-step program, and he said, make a list of all the bad things you've done, people you hurt. Then you got to make amends. I didn't have that much time. My list was going to be way too big, and that's only the stuff I can remember. I'm really scared about the stuff I forgot. And I come across this, and I realized, no, it's not like that. All I've got to do is do the good work and start there, and it will respond. And it did. And things have been pretty darn good. Hey, Santa season starts November 13th for me. Yeah, that's a whole there. We're doing really good. So one other thing I wanted to share here before I close up is another little story. And I want you to think about this. A friend of mine, I was having a coffee not too long ago when she was there, and she was a little bit down. Because in the last 4 years, she's lost 4 members of her family. They died. And she's looking for a few words of wisdom from me. Of course, sometimes my words of wisdom are a little bit strange. And I looked at her and I said, you should be grateful. What, grateful that they're dying? No, not at all. Be grateful that you've been blessed with an opportunity to live life long enough to be able to experience it. Yeah, that's a penalty, but that's the penalty that you have to pay for living a long life. So don't look at it as a bad thing. Be grateful for it. And the last thing I want to go is these 3 things to remember to help you move forward. 1, the life in front of you is more important than the life you left behind. 2, ask yourself if what you are doing is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. 3, don't be a prisoner of your past. It was a lesson, not a life sentence. So go forward with that attitude of gratitude, looking at yourself in the mirror, giving thanks before you do your activities, and knowing that God is good. God is good. God is great. So are we, and so it is.
Yeah, this is a song that just came to be a couple of weeks ago, and so it's still kind of new, and I'm still kind of, feeling it out and having that kind of little honeymoon relationship with it right now. And so I called it We. Not the French oui, not the W-E-E, but
Not the
we.
Nintendo one either.
W-E. And I am open to opinions. If you hear it and title comes to you, totally open to receive that. And it came to me one of the, I think before the Soul Cafe, I was meditating and was like, what's that sounding like all about? And it's about coming together and hearing each other and being with each other. And so, we are here, a part of something more. We are here to share our hearts in love, whole and complete, joy-filled and sweet. We are love, in love, with love, being love. Who we are, the essence of love. We're apart,
we laugh. We feel it. You're willing to allow it. Well, thank you so much for the musical messages, Vivian and the band, and Reverend Doug Craig. Thanks for taking us on that journey exploring in all things give thanks. We give thanks for you. Thank you for being part of our learning. And now we enter into the time of conscious giving. And while we honor the ways that people give of their time to be here and their talents, we also honor the way that the treasures of this world that we call money contribute to us being here in this building as we look after our financial obligations. And we know that this center makes a difference in our lives and in the world. And we celebrate all those other centers all around the world that are bringing a message of love into the world. And if you are called to offer a love offering today, there are the heart's going to be passed. So the hearts will be passed. Many people in our community do make their love offerings online on our website or to donate at unity.org. But however you are contributing to this community, thank you so very much. And as we are feeling that energy of sacred reciprocity of giving and receiving, let's sing our song, Give with an Open Heart, taking into consideration Doug's message today and the message of the music. And perhaps you'll sing this song. If you've sang it many times like I have, perhaps you'll sing it with beginner's mind and beginner's heart. And so please stand and join singing Give with an Open Heart.
Thank you, Reverend Doug. Just a little thought. Eating alone is one of the hardest things I have to do. So I put my laptop on the table, fire it up. Last night, I heard all about the probability of a depression, recession, down all the time. And back of my mind jumped up a bite. What would Charles say to that? What would Ernest Holmes say to that? And I found out. Charles would say, prayer backed with thanksgiving is the most potent that we as individuals can make. Ernest would say, my business affairs are in the safekeeping of divine wisdom. The fields of my experience are rich, blessed, and abundant. That's the thought I have. I share that with you. When you hear the gloom and doom, fire back. And it's easy for people, after you've read a little bit of Charles Fillmore and a little bit of Ernest Holmes. I read that 60 years ago. Ernest Holmes. It just jumps right out. And I speak it right out. And I feel better afterwards. Thank you.
We feel better after too, since you're speaking it.
I was just thinking your digestion really appreciated you looking past the doom and gloom, I'm sure. All right. So we take this time to also offer a blessing to the children. So the children who are in your personal world, the children of the world, and our own precious inner child. Let's bless the children together, shall we? We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you exactly the way you are. And once again, we're going to take a quiet moment to go into prayer. Unity was founded on the prayer and healing practices. So you'll notice it's sprinkled throughout our Sunday gatherings. As we take this moment to bring to our awareness anything that we want to surrender into the power of prayer, we hold Unity Kitchener, Ontario this month. Each month we hold 1 or 2 centers in the power of prayer, the consciousness of prayer, and we see them having the love and support they need to cultivate the unity consciousness and bringing the message of unity across our country. And so let's take a moment to hold in remembrance our true divine nature, our true divine power, the source of all being, and anyone, any situation that we wish to hold in this moment of prayer. And so it is. And if you would like to have a situation, a person held in prayer, there are prayer requests at that back table in front of the prayer box. I collect, or someone collects those slips, and I send just the first name of the person that's being prayed for, whether it's you or someone else, or it could be a situation in the world. I send that to the prayer team here at Unity of Calgary, and I send the names to Silent Unity, and they are held in prayer for 30 days by both our prayer team and by Silent Unity. So do please take advantage of that if it calls to you. You can also send prayer requests to me by prayer@unityofcalgary.org, by emailing prayer@unityofcalgary.org. And Unity Movement has Silent Unity, which is a prayer line. It used to be 24 hours a day. I don't know if they've expanded after the situation that's happened these last couple of years. They had reduced those hours, but if you do phone when they're not with live prayer partners, then you can access a recorded message to support you in that moment. And this long-standing prayer of protection that was written in the war times by the poet laureate to Unity is one that seems to be near and dear to our hearts because we continue to affirm the prayer of protection. So if it moves you, please affirm this prayer with me. The light that is God surrounds me. I am the light. The love that is God enfolds And so it is. Amen. All right, well, Vivian the band will lead us in I Choose Love.
You ready to sing that?
You go. If you want, stand. If you don't, you're good.
creator of that song, he was at Unity some years ago as a guest, and he shared that he wrote that song a couple of days after 9/11, when he realized he was in charge of making the choice in the midst of everything that was happening at that time. And it feels like it's just as appropriate today to choose love. Thanks for joining us in choosing love to the best of our ability, through the words that are spoken, through the music, through the conversations that you have with people about things that matter to you, and sharing that with people who care. So if you have time to stay and join in fellowship, please do so. And as we sing this song, let's generally and purposefully send out this ripple of love and peace into our world, shall we? So if you'd like to join in the circle, and we will sing, Let There Be Peace.
Oh, yeah. Everybody, so looking at everybody, so beautiful. All the love in the room.